Alright, you guys, so the prequels are over! I don't have to talk about the prequels anymore! Now we're on to the original trilogy. When I'm talking about Star Wars, aka Star Wars Episode 4, aka Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope. I'm just gonna, when I talk about this movie, it's gonna be listed under A New Hope, just so when people go to search it up, they can find it. But to me, this is just called Star Wars. And Star Wars came out in 1977, and it's directed by George Lucas and stuff like that. And we meet this kid named Luke Skywalker, and he lives on Tatooine with his Uncle Owen and his Aunt Beru. And well, he seems to be having an okay, average Joe teenager, early 20s life. Um, Meanwhile, all this stuff is going on. We have Darth Vader, who you can see is on the cover of the Steelbook, which I think just a stormtrooper would have been good, and then Vader on the Empire Steelbook, but whatever. But anyway, we meet Darth Vader, who is trying to. He's basically trying to get the plans to the Death Star back because a bunch of rebels came in and stole the plans of the Death Star that they are building. And yeah, he's basically just trying to get those plans back. So he kidnaps Princess Leia, and Luke Skywalker meets Ben Kenobi, aka Obi-Wan Kenobi. I haven't been called that in many, or whatever he says. But yeah, that's a name I haven't heard in a while. But yeah, he meets Ben Kenobi, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and they decide that they're gonna go and save the princess. And there's some other stuff that goes down in between. But they meet Han Solo, who is this smuggler, and he owes this guy Jabba a lot of money. And all of a sudden, Greedo comes into the cantina, and yeah, shit goes down there. Don't get me into that fucking debate right there. Han shot. Okay, he didn't shoot first. Han did not shoot first because Greedo didn't have time to shoot because Greedo was fucking dead. But yeah, that's how I feel about that. Han shot first. What you gonna do, brother? Yeah. So they get Han Solo to fly the Millennium Falcon and fly them up into the galaxy and save Princess Leia. That's basically the overall plot of Star Wars. Now, what I think of Star Wars is it's a fucking classic. I grew up on these movies. Now, obviously, the Steelbook is the special edition. I'm not really gonna talk about the differences. I'll mention the differences that I liked and didn't like, but I'm not gonna mention all like the special effect differences and stuff like that. Really, for the most part, like I'll be talking about like added characters and characters that are in this movie that shouldn't be in this movie. More on that later. But yeah. But overall, yes, Star Wars is a fucking classic. I absolutely love it. I grew up on these movies. I had the VHS tapes growing up that were the not special editions. And then I bought the DVD where you had the original on one disc and then the special edition on the other disc. Obviously, I always watch the original, and I don't have those DVDs anymore, unfortunately. I wish I did, but I don't. I honestly don't know what happened to them. But so now I have the special editions. But yes, it's a classic. Let's talk about Darth Vader. Darth Vader is the baddest dude in the galaxy. You could say, yes, the Emperor might top him. No, Darth Vader's a badass, alright? Well, I do love the Emperor a lot. Even in the prequels, I like them. You can't deny, Darth Vader is the best movie villain in cinematic history, in my opinion. Yes, in my opinion, Darth Vader is my favorite movie villain of all time. Yeah. So, Luke Skywalker, when you meet him in this movie, like everyone knows Luke Skywalker to be this badass Jedi Master and shit like that, but when you meet him in this movie, he's not that at all. He's like some whiny teenager. He's like, I was gonna go to the Taji station and pick up some power converters. He's that guy. And yeah, and he's kind of annoying and stuff like that, but once he meets Ben Kenobi, he kind of tones down a little bit. And once he starts, learning the ways of the Force and, how to be a Jedi and stuff like that, he gets better. Han Solo, oh my god. You want to talk about one of the best characters in cinematic history? Han Solo, Harrison Ford, right then and there, has to be on that list. Has to be. How can you not? What's not to like about Han Solo? Yeah, maybe he's a little bit dirty, he's a little bit of an asshole, but he's like a fun asshole that you love to hate kind of thing. I don't even hate him. I love Han Solo. Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher in 1977, oh my god. Come back. Baby, come back. Carrie Fisher in 2015. I'd still consider doing her. Okay, is that fair? But yeah. Yeah, Carrie Fisher was hot in this movie, and I'm not a big fan of the color white. I'm more of a black kind of guy. I'm not a black guy, but, given the choice of white or black, I'm going to go black. But Carrie Fisher in that white outfit, my God, and I'll talk about Slave Leia once we get to Return of the Jedi, but goddamn, she was hot. Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Vader. That fight, they barely moved because they're a bunch of they're two old men. And when I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. I can't do a Darth Vader impression, but hey, that part was cool. They're talking most of the fight. They're hardly fighting, but it's such a badass fight because you know that there's history between these guys. Where the prequels executed that history very well is a whole other story. Go watch my prequel reviews. But yeah, like so much is told without telling us so much, if that makes sense. You say, okay, Darth Vader and Obi-Wan know each other. In fact, Darth Vader was an apprentice of Obi-Wan at one point. Darth Vader was Anakin Skywalker, turned to the dark side, even though he lies to Luke about that. We pretty much get the idea from Obi-Wan. He's like, yeah, this is Anakin Skywalker. And we know so much with them telling us so little, and I like it. Let's talk about the special editions. I already talked about the Greedo thing. Greedo didn't shoot first because he was fucking dead. He didn't have time to shoot. My biggest... how do I put this? The change in this movie that I hated the most. We keep hearing about this Jabba the Hutt guy, alright? Isadona Solo. That was a Greedo impression. But yeah, he's talking about how Jabba's putting out a pretty big bounty for you and stuff like that. And he's like, so we hear about this Jabba. In the original movie, we never saw Jabba. In the special editions, we see Jabba. We meet Jabba. We should not have met Jabba in this movie. Jabba should have been saved for Return of the Jedi like he originally was supposed to be. But yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, originally like he just had some fat guy walking around. That was Jabba. Then they did the CGI Jabba, which looked fucking awful. And then it was the 1997 special edition. It was the CGI Jabba that was fucking awful. And the the late 2000s one, that Jabba, the one that we have now, it's better looking, but Jabba should not have been in this movie. That's the biggest complaint that I have when it comes to special edition changes in A New Hope or Star Wars. Yeah, that's the one I hate the most, along with the Greedo thing, obviously. But yeah, Star Wars is getting an A+, a high A+. What do you guys think of the original Star Wars film? Comment your thoughts on the movie down in the comment section below. Like the video, share, and subscribe. Just do it.